You'll know when you have a wild woman. She'll practice her craft without boundaries. She is truly autonomous. Her loyalty is only to the family she serves, a midwife who will not allow herself to be held back by a system she didn't create.
This podcast is for the birth keepers who want to grow and change. We are open to learning through self-reflection and supportive community. We are creating this space to explore without judgment. We are remembering we were
Born wild. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Born Wild podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sophia, and we've got two birth stories today. I'm here with Deborah, who's going to introduce herself and her family, and we'll hear about her journeys. So go ahead, Deb.
Hi, I'm Deborah. I live in Lake County, and I'm on my second baby. My little baby girl, Hannah, is here with me right now.
And her hair is standing straight up. It's so cute.
She's always had a full head of hair. Oh, she's waking up to say hello. So she's 2 months old today, 8 weeks. And to be able to share one of the coolest moment of my life is totally an honor. And I got to say that Sophia was like a little guardian angel the whole time, just making sure that we feel safe and guiding us through, but not ever trying to step in, but just kind of saying, let your intuition follow you, like follow it, be with it. And so that was a really cool journey. The whole pregnancy with Hannah was just like total awareness. Unlike my first daughter, who's almost 7, I didn't really find out I was pregnant until probably 2 or 3 months into it. And then we planned a home birth with my first one, and it ended up being at the hospital, which was totally great. I was bleeding a little bit much. So just to be safe, we went to the hospital and everything was perfect.
So you labored at home, but when were you bleeding? In your pregnancy, in your labor? What happened?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. When it was time to have my first baby, Akira, she was pretty much 1 day early of her expected arrival date. So it was perfect pregnancy other than, a little bit of varicose veins. But when we went into labor, I ended up bleeding a little bit much a few hours into it. So we ended up saying, okay, let's abort this mission and go to the hospital because the home birth idea was a little bit much with so much blood, and we were trying to have a water birth. So we had a pool filled up in my bedroom. My husband spent so much time filling up. It was so sweet, but it was okay. We went to the hospital, and it was just a different experience being in a hospital room and having the doctors tell me when to push, tell me how far dilated I am, and everything seemed like, okay, there's a formula that you have to follow. So I was like, okay, that's kind of what I was preparing for when we had our second baby. I was thinking, oh, we'll just have a home birth. Where we're at now, we're just a few minutes up the road from the hospital. But the pregnancy for my second birth was so smooth and so perfect that just last minute we decided, let's see if it's meant to be. Are we meant to have a home birth? So we reached out, and that's when Sophia and Clover came into our lives and gave us this amazing opportunity. So we decided to have her at home, and then let's see what else.
Well, so with your first birth, what happened when they got to the hospital? Like, because you were bleeding too much, like your midwife felt. And so was there anything wrong?
There was nothing wrong. No, nothing was wrong. Actually pretty much stopped all the extra bleeding when I got to the hospital. Like it wasn't bloody at the hospital, but it was a little bit bloody at home on the bed. So everything was fine.
Did they say anything afterwards? Like when they saw your placenta, did they give you a reason for the bleeding?
You know what? I wish that I would have known to ask, was my placenta in the wrong area? Did it come unattached? Is that why it was bleeding so much or what, So I kind of wish I would have thought to ask that, but all they mentioned was, wow, you have a big placenta. So I was like, thank you, I don't know. Yeah, so she was fine, and I had her in the hospital bed on my back, but most of the time throughout the labor, and it was a total 12-hour labor for my first daughter. pretty much the whole time I was standing up or squatting or on all fours until they said it's time. You need to have this baby. And so I took some hypnobirthing courses with my first daughter, and I thought, oh, I'll just breathe and I'll just let this happen. And then it wasn't happening as fast as the hospital wanted, so they came in and they said, push.
They don't have time for that. You're hogging a bed.
Yeah, they have an agenda. They're like, okay. so so they told me to push, and it was really interesting because I was pushing so hard I didn't even realize I busted my blood vessels and my eyeballs, so my eyes were completely red.
Mhm.
And nothing tore. There was nothing. No, I could feel the ring of fire. I could feel the burn, but they put oil on, and everything was fine. They told me to slow down because I was going a little too fast, and we had her. And um they did the whole thing where they want to, they clean the baby up and they suction her nose out and they clean her ears, and then they, after they hurry up and get her all cleaned up, they brought her to me and everything. And then and that's when I got my moment. And then daddy got his moment of, chest to chest shortly after.
Mhm.
And it was a great experience. We couldn't wait to get out of the hospital. They wouldn't let us. They said, sorry, your insurance isn't going to cover if you don't stay the whole length of that we need to do, complete the testing. And of course, we're like, oh gosh,
Which
okay, we'll stay.
for anyone listening, that is not true. They say,
I wish I would have known that because we would have been out. We're
Mhm.
not trying to hang out at a hospital after we just had a baby. It was a great birth. Everything is fine. We just want to get her home.
Yeah,
So
which you also don't want to you don't want to end up with this giant bill too, it's so
I
mean.
know,
It's like bullying, Yeah.
yeah, like forcing me into thousands and thousands of dollars of tests that what is it really going to do right now?
Mhm.
Okay, if something's wrong with her hearing right now, is it going to do anything to test that right this minute? Or can we just let her just kind of come out of the womb and get, like, maybe her ears are just a little more clogged? Come on, people, like all these tests that are so important, but we think about what we've been doing for so long as animals and as cave people, like how did they do it back then? I mean, there's some people just going into the ocean and having a baby, so
And what could be more important than like you and her together? Yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah. And when you have a baby and you wait for that moment, and you don't know what it's like, you don't know how slimy your baby is, or how, I don't know how attached she is. Like the cord, yes, my husband got to cut the cord, but you don't see or really feel as much of the afterbirth here. You're not as I felt not as connected, and maybe it's because of my first birth, but I felt like not as connected and aware of everything that's going on. I can't really see, my legs are up, and they're
Mhm.
just kind of telling me what to do, and I'm like, okay, so, but
Mhm.
totally different than my experience at home. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So take us to your pregnancy with the second. Was it pretty straightforward? Was there anything that came up in that pregnancy?
Yeah, we pretty much knew the moment she was conceived. Her big sister kept saying, plant the seed. So we're like, okay, I guess we're gonna have another baby. And it happened. And we're like, whoa, it didn't think it would happen that fast. But it's not like we were really trying, but so it was just so cool to just be so aware of every moment. So she's just from the moment she was born, and then being able to really take super good care of myself and my diet. I usually try to, but even more so, right? I don't drink or do drugs or anything, so that was easy for me. But so we were so just super aware and planning, and just we saved everything from our first daughter, all the bamboo clothing and kiki pants. So we were just basically ready. Let's have her.
Yeah.
And so it was a great pregnancy. We went to the OBGYN at the hospital a few minutes up the road throughout the whole thing, didn't miss any appointments, had extra ultrasounds. I was 34 when I got pregnant, and then 35 when I had her. So I'm considered, like an advanced maternal age, or some of
Yeah.
my friends like to make fun of me, geriatric pregnancy. I think
I know. I'm glad that they don't call it that anymore, but it's still like not
crazy.
necessary.
It feels weird. I felt like all of a sudden I was called an old lady. I was like, wait a minute, I've never felt old. Why are you making me think this?
Yeah.
So, but we went to all the extra testing and all the extra expensive testing for the extra ultrasounds and the extra things because I'm older. And this pregnancy, I have different insurance. So I really can't believe how much more it was. I mean, it was like over $1,000 to get certain ultrasounds. And I thought insurance will cover this. What's going on? But then that's when I learned that, the pregnancies and the births at the hospitals are average, what, like $30,000. So that's a lot of money. And then if they're forcing you, or if the situation is that you have to have a C-section, what is that, over $100,000?
Yeah, I
And
haven't done any research recently, but the last time I had looked into it, I thought that the average of, like, if you walk in, drop your baby, no IV, no nothing, like nothing extra, it was like 15,000. And then of course it builds on that. And then my
yeah,
understanding for a C-section is they said like anywhere between 30 and 60,000. And that's just for like straightforward, no extra anything. But yeah,
I
I'm
bet.
sure it can be so much more.
Yeah, I have a friend that just had a baby a year ago, and they're looking at $130,000 for their C-section. I don't really know all the complications. When
Wow.
I look online, it looks like it's up to $100,000 average now, and around 27 to $30,000 for a hospital birth now. I'm
Wow.
like, whoa, what a moneymaker! No, I'm just kidding. But really
Well,
cool. I understand
but
all the
it's true. It's true. Yeah, maternity is like 50% of a hospital's revenue. They make
really.
a lot of money keeping women scared of their bodies. It's a
Wow.
lucrative business. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And it
crazy. I
just
had
kind
no
of blows your
idea.
mind that more insurances don't promote home birth, even over like birth center, because birth center is so much cheaper, but you pay like a facility fee. If you birth in your home, you already pay mortgage. You don't have to pay facility fee. But yeah, so it's just so much cheaper. You would think more insurances were like, yes, this is the way to go. We're gonna save some money. But
I know. I feel like the society is so disconnected with
mm-hmm,
the fact that we are animals and how long we've been doing this. And
mm-hmm,
I think that people are probably so happy that people will be like, you didn't test this, you didn't test this, and it's like, and even though those things probably would have happened even in a hospital,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm actually, my husband and I laugh all the time. Wow, we saved so much money for like the coolest experience of my life.
Yeah.
How did that
Yeah.
work
So,
out?
so dive into that. Because we met pretty late in the game.
I know. How far was I? Like 8 or 9 months pregnant, ready to pop a baby out in a few weeks.
Because
I
when
was so glad that you took me. I was like, yes. I was like, I really hope it will be a smooth birth for her, because I didn't need to trick her into anything. But yeah, so that was really cool to find you. And I had no idea that you were gonna come with oxygen tanks and a little baby gurney and like everything,
baby Rudy,
and
I love that.
yeah, like there was like a gurney in the, like a little carry gurney thing, and oxygen tanks, all this setup. I realized after I had the baby, I came through and I saw that there, and I saw the extra bedroom with all the stuff to take care of me. And I thought about, oh my gosh, you guys are two midwives willing to bring three, like just a total team. And
Mhm.
I thought that was so cool. I had no idea you're going to bring that much, and like so much supportive, like just in case scenarios. And I thought that was really cool. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was already super comfortable, but then when I saw that, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
So
and
that was
typically we
awesome.
don't even bring it into the room. Like we had it all in the extra room, but towards the end, there were a couple funky heart tones, which turned out to be not a big deal. But we just brought everything closer just in case. But
Yeah.
yeah, so you had contacted me, and I think I was like, okay, I think I'm already on call for you. I think you were like 37 weeks, and you were kind of far away, so we were trying to plan a time. We met on Zoom. So that we can at least
Mhm.
see each other's faces, but then we were trying to plan a time to meet in person, which just never
I
unfolded.
know, that
We were
was
like
so funny.
10 minutes from each other, meeting each other, and I got called to a birth and I had to turn around.
I
Uh,
know, everything's meant to be. I think about it. I'm like, dude, I already met her. We're on Zoom. It was so cool. I could feel your vibe and your energy. You and Clover. It was so cool. So, thank you for coming out of your way. I know I'm like an hour and a half or so at least out of your way. So thank you.
yeah, it was,
I
I learned a lesson
yeah.
getting to you, which I wanted to share with everybody because I was low on gas when I was heading to you, and you were kind of like cooking along though. You had sent us a picture of like all this bloody show, and it's your second baby, and the first wasn't very long, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just have to like get there, you know. And my husband, as
Yeah.
I'm heading out the door, he's like, make sure to stop and fill up gas. And I was like, yeah. And I, in my head, I'm like, I'll get gas when I get there. 5 minutes from your house, I
Oh my
completely ran
gosh.
out. And I was like,
You got right off the highway and it ran out.
I was like,
Sometimes you get stuck on the
oh
highway.
my God. And thankfully I had cell service, because there's areas getting to you where there was no cell service. And I called Clover, and she was still like 50 minutes away, like 50, because she had a farther drive than me. But I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Okay.
I can wait 50 minutes. Like, I don't know how close she is. And so I felt so bad, but I had to call you guys and be like, you come pick me up. I was so embarrassed, and I was like, I
Oh,
will
but we're
never
like, you know what?
make that mistake
That
again.
was We're like, you know what? Like, we're so lucky that we found her and that she's doing this for us. Like, it's nothing. Thank you so much.
Oh, no worries. I
The
just felt
guardian,
bad, like pulling him away from you, and you were a
like,
neighbor. And
it's okay. I had my girl with me though. I had my 6-year-old. She's so sweet, dude. If I needed her to, she would have caught the baby. She would have.
totally, totally, yeah.
And it
We
was kind of
actually,
neat.
I think we offered her, right? She had kind of wanted to,
Yes,
and then when she
yes.
saw the baby crowding, she kind of like shook her head and eyes wide, like, nope.
You know what? After seeing my birth video, I probably would have been the same way. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Are their heads supposed to be that blue? I mean, I watched birth videos, but I think I watched too many water births where I kept thinking I should have watched more home births, you know.
I'm
It
like land birth,
was,
yeah.
yeah, but you made it. And I remember I was going through my contractions and they were just like, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes apart. And I was like, well, that'd be so interesting if they get here and there's like already a baby. I'd be like, I feel like such a beast if I was able to do that. I was like, it's okay if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, but like, what did we even do? You know, like,
Oh my gosh, that's what was so cool because you got here and you just stepped aside. You're like, okay, just breathe, just do your thing. And I'm like, am I dilated enough? Like, is this okay? You're like, no one needs to look at your vagina. It's fine. And I'm like, okay. You're like, you'll know when it's time. And I'm like, yeah, I think it's time right now. I can feel something, you know. And that's when like I could tell that like hypnobirthing and all that breathing and just letting your body do it really does come in play. I just didn't have enough time the first time to let my body do what it needed to do, you know, because you know when it's time. And
yeah.
this baby came twice as fast. So the contractions, I think that might be why the contractions were twice as intense. I was like, I do not remember it being this intense, you know.
Yeah, because
So
everything
that
is happening just, everything still has to happen. It's just happening so much faster.
so much faster. Yeah, my body just want my hips are trying to come apart, and I could just feel my back trying to arch, and I
Mhm.
could feel myself trying to widen things up down there. So it was really neat because after just letting my body do its thing and finding my position, which was what's kind of squatting or sitting on my knees with one leg kicked up.
Mhm.
And you helped me. You're like, hey, just leg up a little bit because I started crowning, and then I remember I could feel the baby's head, and I was like, oh, cool, I want to catch this baby, but like it's really hard to push right now and try to reach down there.
Mhm.
And I remember asking you, should I pull her head? And I feel bad for even asking that, but it's such a weird thing to think. Okay, well, these doctors really made me feel like you have to get the baby out. And then, there's certain time situations, cerebral palsy, for instance, like my oldest sister has cerebral palsy. So that's something that crossed my mind, and then these are questions I probably should have asked. I don't know why I didn't think to ask,
Mhm.
hey, if I feel her head crown, and I can feel her head, do I want to try to help? Do I try to loosen things up? What do I do? I didn't think to ask these things. So I think it would be kind of cool to make a little list, like of things to think about for next time if that happens.
Yeah, and like
Because
typically throughout pregnancy and prenatal care, we like bring up certain topics, and so we were
I
kind
bet.
of fitting in the most important things where we could.
Oh yeah, no, no, totally. No, I'm sorry. I didn't even think about it like that.
Well, no, and I'm looking too, like how long her head was out before she was born, and it was just a minute, so it wasn't even like super long or anything.
No, it's just, when you're in the hospital and you have all these nurses and you have a doctor like push, like, he had like an accident. That's why I'm saying it like that. But it's just, you feel like, oh gosh, I want to make sure I do this fast enough. And so it's just in the moment, you're like, oh my gosh, am I supposed to pull her head out? Even my husband, when you tricked him into coming behind and delivering, which thank you. It's like I telepathically sent that message to you, like you knew I wanted him to help me with that, because I always said, hey, are you going to help me birth? Are you going to help catch the baby? And he's like, oh no, babe, I don't know if I'm ready for that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, because I really like to catch her. Okay, but I remember I felt the baby coming out, and I had no idea. Let me just pause there. I had no idea that I don't remember that much liquid either. I mean, I felt like I would just like pad and diaper before I had her and while I was having her. So much liquid. So that was amazing and something to note. I mean, I feel like I probably lost a couple of pounds in fluid.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
and then
paint a picture for everyone too. You had this like gymnastics set up for your daughter, where it was like one of those folding mats and then like a bar, and it was up against your bed, and so the mat was folded up. And so what would you say, you're probably like a foot off the ground or higher than that?
Yeah, I think I was about a foot off the ground.
Yeah,
With
so you were
one
like
knee
kneeling.
on my gymnastics. Yeah, one knee on my gymnastics pad, and then the other leg kicked up on the top part of my bed ledge or
Yeah,
so.
and then kind of like leaning over your bed a little bit, and
yeah, hunched over, holding onto my grab bar, my daughter's gymnastic grab bar. It was so
it was the
yeah, kind of supporting myself.
And it's really important to us that we don't catch babies. And so typically I would just throw like a bunch of blankets down or pillows down. But I remember I was looking at your setup and I was like, your bottom was hanging over the edge of the mat.
Yeah.
So I was like, if this baby like falls, if nobody catches the baby, it was like such a long drop, and I wasn't worried about the baby hurting, but I was worried about like the cord snapping or something like that. And you were expressing like that it seemed like it was going to be a little difficult for you to catch. So that's when I motioned for your guys to come over, and I had no idea that he was hesitant at all to catch. I was just like, he was filming, and I was like, come here, come see this angle, and then I took the camera from him, and then he caught the baby.
I know, and that's cool because we got the video of you saying, "Come here." I told him later. I said, "I told her to trick you into that," and he's like, "You did?" And I was like, "No, I'm just kidding." But everything was just so meant to be, because he's an animal, I'm an animal, and you were just like, "Hey, come check this out. You're filming. You want to see? Here's the right angle." And then he got back there, and he's like, "Oh, it's go time." Like he could see the head from the front, kind of crowning out. But then when you get to the back, you can actually see the baby's head, her whole head out. Her eyes closed, full head hair, blue and really pale. And so he's a fisherman. He's a bass fisherman looking to catch 10-pound bass. So slimy 10-pounders, he's got this. So he was like, push. I pushed, and then he had his arms like this and caught her and then stuck his arms underneath my legs, and I just picked her right up. It was like we practiced like a little football catch, a reverse football.
It was so sweet. Yeah, he's like, "You got this," and you pushed the baby, and he handed her right to you. And yeah, and what did you say? It wasn't until like an hour or so later that when he was washing the blood off his arms, he was like, "Oh my God, what just happened? What did I just?"
Yeah, he was like, "I just delivered a baby. Like I just caught her." I'm like, "Yes." Coolest thing ever. Now I call him Dr. Jimmy. I say, "Dr. Jimmy." To make fun of him.
But it really is like a once or twice. Oh, is he here?
Dr. Jimmy. He just said, "Am I being paged?"
Paging Dr. Jimmy.
It was so cool because he really is used to catching some slimy things, and she was 8.5 pounds, right?
Hi.
There he is. I know. There's our guardian angel, huh, Jimmy?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, we
You
were
know,
just reliving the moment.
it was so cool because it's like, it's so neat to think like, oh my gosh, if we really had to, I think we could have done that by ourselves. Like
Totally. You did.
you were
You
like,
did do it by
you
yourself.
got this, and I'm like, so it's really neat. I feel like we had you, and that's us being smart, like, okay. But it's very intriguing, the idea of a complete, what they call a free birth where you don't have anyone around. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's what they used to do,
births. I
Yeah.
mean, the whole idea, my hope is, eventually when people are hiring me, it's because they want me there and they want my support, but not because they feel like they need it. You know what I mean? Like the difference
Yeah.
between like that they feel like they couldn't do it without me versus they wouldn't want to. Like that's when I want to be at the birth,
Right.
not to feel,
Yeah.
that they're that they just couldn't do it without me. Yeah, but they know I've got
Everything's
this. All I need is me and my baby. I can do this.
Yeah. Hey, you got my back. You just keep an eye out, right?
Yeah, and then you just surround yourself with like the people that make you feel safe and cared for and can take care of you and get you water and all those things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like the people who love you and just tell you to sit down.
Yeah, yeah. And
Sit
then
down and
we bring our stuff because every once in a while something happens. But the goal is that we're not the ones causing the problem in the first place and then fixing it and then making families feel like we were actually super necessary or needed.
yeah. Yeah, you don't intervene. I mean, I was like asking you, like, do you want to take a look? And you're just like, it's okay. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, yeah, it is okay, huh? So, but I really didn't. You took the heart tones because I just, I'm like, well, if you're there, I guess it's not going to hurt to check.
Yeah.
So it was really, everything was just in case. And like you said, everything, you have it all lined up. So that way you don't ever actually need it.
And again, like making it all be presented as an option. Like when we got there and we said, do you want us to check your vitals or listen to the baby? Not like, okay, when you're ready, we're going to do these things. Like we actually asked. And if you had said no, we would have been like, okay, no problem. Let us know if you change your mind, that it really is up to you, like how you want it to go and what you want it to look like. And yeah, it's like,
100%.
yeah,
It was so neat. It was way more than I even realized. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, like I am in charge of this, and thank you for trusting my intuition as a human and as a woman. It was so cool, because so often it's like, I don't know if you know professionals in the medical field mean to discredit our intuition or how we feel or alternative medicines, but it's just so nice to feel connected and to be empowered like that. Like, I'm an herbalist. I definitely love my herbs, and I've had some friends who are board certified emergency room doctors, and they think, oh, these things are crazy and this and that. And I say, oh, okay, well, just like marijuana was crazy and led to hysteria and all this rage, and now it's mom and pop shops are getting closed during the pandemic and dispensaries are open, so
now it's
things
medicinal.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
I think that
most of the medications were based off of properties of plants. Like they used
that's,
plants
yes,
first and then created a
that's what,
synthetic version.
absolutely. Aspirin, feverfew,
Yeah.
ibuprofen, Jamaican dogwood. It's like, oh, but then the doctors say, oh, but you can't isolate the constituents, so you don't know if the other things are going to cause side effects. I say, oh, but side effects amongst the conventional drugs are what? Come on. Don't even tell me that, oh, we got a pill for the side effect and got a pill for the other side effect. It's just,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
it's all about control and like keeping people uninformed and scared and nervous, because then they will go to the, in air quotes, professionals, because how could you possibly learn this all by yourself and take care of yourself? Like, you need a professional, you need to go to well baby checks so that you know your baby's okay. And like, they just keep taking the power more and more away from you and having you second guess yourself. And that's like the whole point of this way of birthing, is that you can look to
You're empowered.
you can look to us, but then ideally we throw it right back at you, and you're like, am I okay? And we're like, check in with yourself, like, are you okay? You know, like,
Yeah.
reminding you,
Yeah.
like, you'll know if something's wrong, you know, and we're here to help you if something is, but you've got this, you know, and you're the one in charge.
I remember when things were kind of, I think the baby's head was out, and I just remember you saying, just, there's no emergency, everything's okay. And I remember hearing your soft, calm voice and being like, yeah, everything is okay. I'm fine. It's just, but for some reason, I felt like I had to hurry or do this. Like, everything was done so fast in the hospital. And is everything okay right now? And then when the baby came out, I instantly wanted to, remember I said, where's the nose suction? I got to get this baby's nose unclogged and I need to wipe her down. And you were like, she's okay. It's all right. And I remember thinking, like, okay, yeah. Because out in the wild, the mom's cleaning off the baby's face. And if I had to, I'd probably just suck on her nose or something, you know, like in the wild for real. So I'm like, there's all these little reality checks of, you're an animal and you have intuition, and are you fine? Yeah, you are. It's okay. And that was you. You were like this little spirit intuition guidance counselor. Look within yourself.
Like, remind women what normal is again, you know, because we don't live in our villages where we watched everyone give birth, and so we've got this and we've seen it. And I feel like when I'm like hurrying to a birth, it's not because I don't think she could do it without me. I know 100% this baby's just going to fall out and it's all going to be fine. The reason I want to get there is to be able to give reassurance in those moments where they're like, oh my gosh, we were scared, we thought we had to get the head out right away, you know, or the rest of the body. And to be able to be there and be like, take your time, nothing's wrong, you know. So it can be, the baby can come into like a calm environment versus people are like nervous and scared that something was wrong.
Yeah, because I don't exactly know what's normal. Is this normal? Is it okay? You've been there. It's like back in the day, you'd have a village, you had your mom, you have your grandma, you have your aunts, they're telling you it's okay. You know, you're all in the barn having the baby together. It's all right, you know. And that was one thing. We have this old 1947 school bus that my husband's redoing into a little hippie bus. And he was telling me that a baby was born in that bus.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I said, I would like to have the baby at home, or man, if you get this bus done, let's have it in a bus. I was like, that's so cool. Just to say you did that. And he was like, babe, if that's what you want, let's do it. And it was that moment that I was like, that's what I want, you know? And then that's when we found you. So that was really cool. And then the whole experience with like, okay, we had the baby, she's on my chest, and we're not going to cut the cord. We're going to let that cord sit, and we're going to let everything physiologically kind of sizzle out and calm down naturally, instead of disconnecting and cut the cord now, you know. Like, that was really neat. I sat in my bed with a bowl that had my baby's placenta in it, which was about as big as the bowl. And she sat on my chest with that cord connected for at least an hour. And then daddy came in, and I tried to tell him to chew the cord, right? But that was also a completely different experience where you're like, no, you just sit. This is a part of you, and this is a part of your baby, and one step at a time. Like, the baby just popped out. So let's just wait for the next step of cutting the cord, you know? And that was really cool.
Yeah.
So
my notes say it was like 2.5 hours attached before we cut it.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah. Oh yeah. It was a long time. Time flies when you're in state
funny when you're in labor, immediate postpartum. Yeah. I was talking to someone recently. They're like, it felt like you were there for like under an hour postpartum. Everything was just like a time warp. And I was like, I had been there for like 4 hours or something. She's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, and so you can imagine if you
Well,
are rushing everything, how extremely fast that would feel. If, waiting 2 hours feels like one, then you can imagine if waiting
yes.
2 minutes, how quickly that would feel and how disruptive it would be.
Yeah. And how disconnected you feel from the moment, right? Because when it could be like a little stressful, right? Trying to rush something that you've been baking up for,
Yeah.
almost a year.
Yeah. And
So,
rushing gives this element of like that there's an emergency or urgency. And, it's like just like slowing it all down again.
yeah. Yeah. Take a breath and just let things flow, right? That's let things flow. That's how the universe wants things.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Well,
It was a really awesome experience.
how have things been postpartum and how's nursing been? And what
Oh
did
my gosh.
what did you do
Babies are,
with your placentas both times?
oh my goodness, got them encapsulated. So sweet. What was the gal's name that encapsulated
Chelsea.
mine? So sweet. Share a little heart umbilical cord and
Yeah.
the placenta print and the encapsulations. I take those every day. And I think that they do help. I'm taking the rest of my first daughter's placenta encapsulations and
Hmm.
just finishing those off. And then I'm taking, 4 to 6 of my new daughter's encapsulations. And I don't know how many were in a jar, but I got about 3 jars. So that was really cool. But yeah, and I'm obviously finishing up all my prenatal pills and, taking enzymes, just finishing everything up still. So, the pregnancy was so smooth for my first one. And then right after I found you, I tested positive for strep B.
Hmm.
And I think there was like something else. Well, I tested positive for strep B. Oh, and I got a vaginal cyst. I hate to admit that, but that happens, people. Okay.
Hmm.
I didn't really know that these things happen too much, so it scared the crap out of me. I thought, oh, I'll just look up some little videos on how to prepare for pregnancies, and I took a little look at myself and what's that? But
Uh-huh.
Sophia, I mean, I don't know what time in the morning it was, and you replied or called, you answered my phone. I was like 2 in the morning, I think I called you, and you were
Uh-huh.
there. Thank you. And you sent
Yeah.
it to all your little team, your little support groups, but you're like, it's okay, and I'll talk to everyone else, and we'll make sure. And you reassured me the next day, and you sent me links, and thank you.
You're
So that
welcome.
was cool. There's two little random things, and it all came after I found you, and I swear it wasn't a trick. Because then I started freaking out about the strep B because the
Uh-huh.
hospital makes you feel like, okay, well, you got strep B, and if you're gonna have a home birth, then you just come here and get your IVs administered, and then make sure you come back. And then people were saying, well, make sure they don't trick you into staying, because then they won't let you leave. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You
Well,
can't
and
hold
I
this
mean,
back.
if somebody really wanted IVs, or sorry, antibiotics in labor, we could do that. So you wouldn't have if you had wanted that, you wouldn't have had to go to the hospital, do it. We could have done it. But
Oh yeah, because you even said that you have like capsules or some kind of two ways of administering that, right?
normally we just do like IV, through the IV,
Oh,
but
okay.
we probably wouldn't have been able to do it for you because you gave birth too quickly because they want you to do 2 doses 4 hours apart. So it would have been
And
tricky
I
to
am
get
so not.
that in you.
I am just not into that at all. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The idea of
you
like
know,
giving it just in case, and maybe nobody really needs it, or like waiting to see if, the baby actually has an issue and then giving
yeah,
antibiotics then.
yeah. And like they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I read what you sent me, and I took some of those herbs, and I did apple cider vinegar, and I took extra enzymes, and I did, I think, like yogurt tampons, plain yogurt tampons, garlic suppositories, and I was like boosting myself up on probiotics. I mean, what you guys recommended was like a 49 billion probiotic capsule, and these things were a little pricey, but I feel like in the end everything works out. So I finished up all that, and even still finishing them up now because I feel like it's not going to hurt me to keep
Right.
taking like all these special enzymes and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so everything worked out, and I was so glad that like the strep B, it was more like taking all the herbs and doing all that. I think was more like just reassurance on my brain to say, hey, I'm doing what I can, even though probably I feel like babies are born all the time. And I feel like I know that there's these hazards and everything, but I feel like it's probably very, 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 very slim. So I understand it's a chance that I take, but at the same time, I don't like antibiotics. I don't like what it can do to an immune system, especially one that's not developed.
Mm-hmm.
So according from what I've learned, it's not exactly a good idea to interfere with an immunity that maybe might have better chance of developing naturally, in my opinion. That's why I'm not into vaccines. And I think there are some vaccines that could help, if you're in certain situations, but for
Mm-hmm.
my lifestyle, and I don't travel and go to too many places and all that, like I'm not into shots, and I'm definitely not into shots for babies that are new, so we opted out of that. So
Yeah. And that's the
yeah.
whole like point, is that you and your family should get to decide all these things, like GBS, do you want antibiotics or not? Vaccines, do you want them or not? It shouldn't be an across the board, everyone has to get this, everyone has to be tested. It should be offered to you, and you should be able to decide if you want it or not, and what you want to do about it. But it's just kind of not even suggested to you. You're just told what to do.
Yeah, you're just told what to do, and that's like saying like everyone can follow the same what food. It's not a food pyramid anymore, it's like a food plate or something, but it's like every body is different, everyone is different. So really it's all intuitive. You got to do what feels right,
Yeah.
and whatever's meant to be, it's meant to be, right? So
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journeys.
aw,
Just run.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you are just amazing. I can't thank you enough for helping to make the coolest moment of my life. So thank you so much. We'll
Welcome.
talk to you.
Thanks everybody for listening. You can find us at Born Wild Podcast on Instagram. For inquiries or feedback, you can email us at bornwildpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me, Emma Ray, on Instagram at Emma Ray, REA.
Sophia at sophiabirth.com.
And me, Leah, at Bay Area Home Birth.
We would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps us reach more people. And as always,
Stay wild.